Hi, thanks for watching. Okay, I'm in the mid 80s now in my story, and Bob had his workshop. He's working in the hospital, respiratory, but he has his workshop doing stained glass downstairs uh, in the studio apartment that we were also renting. And I found one picture here of something that he made with the stained glass. Here it is. Okay. This is a church window that he made. He made shell windows of shells like seashells that are that he put in the shell shop uh, at the Seaport Village in San Diego, and I think they're still there. Um, so I'm going to show you. I told you I cut my hair curly perm. And here's a picture of me and Bob. And here's a picture of me and Bob. Okay. Well, okay, so one day, well, let me start here. Okay, Myrna, who I mentioned to you, she was going to our church, living near us, and she fell outside of church one day, and Bob was working. He had to work every other Saturday, so he didn't go to church. So we're going to church on Saturdays on Sabbath. And so Myrna fell and she needed to go to the hospital. She hurt her arm, ended up being broken. But I took her to the hospital. Um, Bob was working at the hospital that day. So, of course, he didn't know we were coming. There's no cell phones, remember? So I just thought I'd kind of surprise him anyway. I could have called from the church and said we're on our way, but, didn't do that. So we kind of popped in, and she was getting fixed up in the emergency room. She broke her arm, so they had to cast it and x-ray it and all that. And I went to look for my husband. Well, it was around lunchtime, and somebody said that he would be in the cafeteria. And I went to the cafeteria, and I caught him in line at the cafeteria. I will say flirting with this lady who was working in the cafeteria, that was serving. And I mean, she was a real cute young lady, and she was, all smiling and talking to him a lot while he's in line getting his food, and he was all smiling and, you know, eating it up. That she seemed to, she was flirting with him, and I would say he was kind of responding. That's what I was seeing. But the other thing, I mean, he was always flirty, and women always liked him. He had really nice eyes, and women always liked him because of his personality and all. But one of his coworkers uh, was kind of trying to give him the high sign to be careful because I was there and I caught that. That concerned me more than seeing him flirting with that girl. I saw the coworker, trying to catch his attention and, poking at him and trying to let him know that I was right behind him, and so that was not cool. And it was somewhere around this time that one day he was down in the workshop downstairs from our house, and I called him for lunch. And he didn't come up right away like he usually did. So I went down there to see what was going on, what he was doing. And he was crying. And I'm pretty sure that was the first time anyway that I ever saw him cry. And, of course, I'm like, what's the matter? What happened? And he told me that he was having an affair at the hospital with someone that worked there. And Uh, he was crying so much that I mean, he didn't really need to say any more. I felt bad because of the way he was crying. That was my first, I mean, I was shocked, horrified, but I felt really sorry for him because of the way he was crying. And so, I told him that I forgive him. You know, I said something like, if it's over, and I forgive you. I still love you. I'm hugging him and trying to hug him and all that, but he was not hugging me back. He kind of pushed me away and he said, "No." He says, "You don't understand." He said, "I'm not crying for you or because of you." He said, "I'm crying because I'm in love with her. And I did break it off last night, but I didn't want to. I'm in love with her." Wow. So I don't know what else to say, at least he broke it off, right? But, of course you can imagine how I felt. So we never talked about that again. It was kind of like, okay, it's over. I'm glad it's over, you know. But of course, I couldn't trust him anymore, and I I thought that he had really grown to love me. If you were following, in the beginning, um, he let me know a few different ways that he didn't really want to marry me. He wasn't really in love with me, but for some reason he always stuck with me, and we never had fights, never fought. I thought, seemed like we got along great, but apparently he wasn't happy. I thought we had the perfect family, and he didn't think so, I guess. So I will say also that I was not aware of any problem with our sex life. I mean, we had sex all the time, a lot, and I never, I thought that was all good. I never knew there was any problem there. Um, it did become routine, the sex, because we'd been together a long time, and having the kids and all, it was kind of like um, routine. Like I say, it becomes routine. It can become routine. It was like, like you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you eat, you have sex. We had it at our regular times every day, and but it was routine. It was always the same pretty much, which was satisfying for both of us, I thought. I mean, you know, I didn't know there was a problem there, but I guess we should have been more adventuresome or done something different. I don't know. Um, Maybe part of it was because I told you I was always ashamed of my body. I never liked to be naked in front of him. So, it was always lights out or under the covers. And I would turn around when I was getting dressed and stuff like that. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know. But we went on with our lives. I got a job when the twins went into the first grade. I started working. I got a job at heliotrope, which means looking towards the sun or bending towards the sun or towards the sun. It means anyway. Um, they made solar panels, and they also made other electrical type things. They had a machine shop there where they made their own parts and everything. And so I worked in the office. I got a job, accounts payable, and cash forecasting, cash reports I was doing. And I was using my new Lotus 123 skills, and it was good. They paid well. So I was making what I left Laird's at, I think was like $9 an hour. I started at Heliotrope, which was good pay. This, in the mid 80s, that was not bad, and they raised me $1 every year. So they treated me well. The guy that owned the place, he actually lived right near us out there in the, and anyway, he was a good guy. He liked me, and it was all good. One day when I was there, um, I See, I was in the office with just me and another girl, and she did the payroll, accounts receivable. I did payables and cash reporting, and then we had a controller who oversaw us. And just a couple memories from my job over there. One thing was the biggest mistake I ever made. Was when I first started working there, I was paying all the bills, accounts payable, and I paid the electric bill twice one month. And it was a lot, I think I remember it was close around $1,000. And I paid it twice. I caught it soon after I paid it, like the next day or something. When I realized it, I immediately called the power company, told them, I made a mistake, paid you twice. I need to make sure the credit's back on the account. They took care of that right away. I thought no problem, okay? But then the next day, my boss, the controller, comes over to me and he told me that he saw it, he caught it, and I told him I took care of it already and all that. So he wasn't angry, but he didn't like it that I didn't tell him. And the lesson I learned from that was that, in accounting, it's not easy, mistakes like that don't get hidden. They don't fall through the cracks. If you have a good controller or, somebody auditing on a daily basis and all that, um, you're going to get caught. So anyway, I learned that lesson, valuable lesson, and I learned if I did make a serious error in accounting to tell my boss, you know, uh, that it will come out uh, at month end, if not sooner, unless you got a really messed up company with messed up books, which happens sometimes. So the other one day I was at Heliotrope, and the other lady at the desk next to me, she was on the phone, and I was doing my job, and suddenly the shaking started happening, earthquake, right? And like I say, at first you freeze for a minute, and if it's either going to go away or it's going to get worse, and if it gets worse, then you take cover. And I remember it started shaking pretty strong. I looked at her. She was on the phone. She says, "I gotta go. We're having an earthquake." She hung up the phone, and we both went under the desks. Um, so that was the third strong quake that I was in. We didn't have damage, but it was pretty strong. It was pretty strong. Shook everybody up. Also, there was a couple there at Heliotrope. It was kind of odd couple. I thought he was in his mid-40s and she was like 20. Um, but they got married. We went to their wedding, and the only reason I'm mentioning them is because it was pretty cool that they would rescue horses when the wildfires happen. So I worked there for 3 years, maybe going on 4 years. And they were called up several times, for wildfires, and they would go out, they would leave the job and go rescue horses from wildfires. So that was a cool thing that they had to do out there in California. Um, so at Heliotrope one time they had a potluck, and I ended up eating some rattlesnake meat by accident because somebody told me it was chicken, and I took a bite, even though, I was vegetarian, I wasn't even eating chicken, but I just took one bite, and after I ate it, I knew it wasn't chicken when I got it in my mouth, and I, you know, it didn't even look like chicken really, but yeah, the texture and the flavor, it was not chicken. But and then after I swallowed it, they told me it was rattlesnake, and everybody laughed at me. But that was the only time I ever tasted snake, uh, and not on purpose. So, it's only 15 minutes. Okay. I was going to tell one other cute little thing. I started to tell it in the last one, but then I got off track and never finished that story. But um, the twins, okay, they were so cute when they were little. And I told you they had a lot of nice clothes from people that gave them. But when I would buy them clothes, I would always get the same thing. It was easier that way, just get two of whatever it was, especially if it was on sale or something. That was always good. But I would get just a different color, so they weren't exactly the same. I would usually, because Robbie and Bobby, R&B, I would get red for Robbie and B for blue for Bobby. Normally, always red and blue. And one day, they got a new outfit, and they both we were home. I brought it home and uh, told them to try it on, and they both tried it on, and they both looked so cute. And I said, "Oh, go look in the mirror. You look so cute. Go look in the mirror." And they both looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, "Go look in the mirror. What's the matter?" They said, "We don't have to look in the mirror. We just look at each other." So I thought that was cute. Life with twins. Um, I wish I had more twin stories like that, but like I say, they didn't play it up a lot about them looking alike and dressing alike and stuff like that. But they sure were cute. And I will say that when they were very little, starting to talk, they were slow talking. Lauren was very early talking, and they were the opposite. They were slow talking, but they started talking their own language, and that's often with twins, that they made up words for different things, and the rest of the family got to know those words, and we would all talk like them. Other people do that with their kids, I know too. So we did that, and I do have some time, but the other story that's coming up is really heavy. I'm thinking I might just save that one. I think I'm going to save it for next time. I'll leave this one short because that story is a heavy duty story. Coming up next time. Thanks for watching.